Yes, we're ready here.
Okay, so Isabel, if you're ready, then we can go live. Okay, so just to inform you, you're muted. You're muted. Voila. Okay, yes, perfect. So we are gonna go live. I'm gonna stop the practice session and start the recording. Please go ahead.
The Honorable Mia Amor Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, Ms. Isabelle Durand, Acting Secretary General of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, Ambassador Chad Blackman, Permanent Representative of Barbados to the United Nations in Geneva, ambassadors and representatives of UNCTAD member states, members of the National Organizing Committee of UNCTAD 15 and their counterparts in the UNCTAD Secretariat in Geneva, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Sharon Marshall. Since we last gathered in December of 2020 to announce new dates for UNCTAD 15, we have not had an opportunity to update you on preparations for the conference. However, there have been several developments, including the appointment of an acting Secretary General of UNCTAD. Ms. Isabelle Durand took up the position on 16th of February 2021, following 3.5 years as Deputy Secretary General. A former minister and senator of Belgium, as well as Vice President of the European Parliament, Ms. Durand brings to UNCTAD a solid experience in public affairs, intergovernmental processes, and concrete assistance to countries. She's well known for her skills in empowering people, addressing vulnerabilities at local and national levels, and supporting governments towards good governance and sustainable policies. This morning, Ms. Durand and Prime Minister Motley will update you on preparations for UNCTAD 15, and I now invite Madame Durand to address you.
Thank you so much. Madam Prime Minister, Excellencies, colleagues and friends of UNCTAD, our friends in Barbados, in my role as head of an international organization, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, I fight every day for a fairer, more sustainable and more systemic development. The pandemic and its socio-economic consequences have only made this fight more urgent and even more critical. A direct consequence is that the voice of developing countries must be heard more loudly and more clearly. Our UNCTAD 15 conference is their conference, is your conference, and it is your opportunity to raise your voice. I am very fortunate to be preparing this ministerial conference together with Prime Minister Mia Motley and her dynamic administration. We are both very well aware and concerned about the fragility of our times and of the immense suffering caused by the health crisis and its consequences, particularly in the developing world and for the most vulnerable groups. Together, we have a responsibility to respond to that extreme fragility and to ensure that UNCTAD 15 seizes the momentum, focuses on the essentials, and is a key moment for discussions and decisions that will guide our member states on the road to recovery. We will be the first to present to the world in the wake of the pandemic an international conference dedicated to the most promising junction for human well-being, trade and development, and by extension, economy and development. Right after UNCTAD 15, WTO will hold its ministerial conference MC12. Another important deadline is the LDC5 conference in early 2022. We must make sure that our impact serves this critical year and the various trade and development milestones. But more than that, what we plan for October must serve the needs of the countries and their population. It is also a moment to mobilize energy, citizenship, cooperation, and solidarity. It is key for our host country, and it is key for the rest of the developing world. The courage of Barbados, its population, and its Prime Minister in addressing this difficult situation that they face is a source of inspiration. In Geneva, we have started negotiating the text that will be adopted in October as a tangible outcome of the conference. The member states are motivated, working diligently and constructively on the negotiations. And these are on the way under the excellent leadership of the Trade and Development Board President, Ambassador Villegas. On the table is a transformative agenda addressing the biggest gaps and challenges that COVID-19 has revealed and exacerbated. For the first time since the birth of UNCTAD, we will not be able to hold a physical conference. Moving thousands of people around the globe is unfortunately not an option right now. It would be unsafe for both the participants and also for the host country. It would not be fair, and it would not help the world get back on its feet. Instead, for this 15th edition, UNCTAD and its host country, Barbados, will enter into every home, into every office, and into every administration. A virtual UNCTAD 15 and its essential messages will be accessible to all, from head of states to the small business owners, to young girls and boys preparing their future, as well as the future of our planet. I see this as an opportunity to build on the momentum created by the crisis, to innovate and invent a new experience, to be closer and more inclusive to the people we serve, especially the vulnerable. Together, let's seize the opportunity offered by this new virtual conference halls and meetings rooms. We will engage differently with our member states and stakeholders, but together we will build new ways of work and partnership for the prosperity for all. Thank you.
Merci, Madame Durand. Prime Minister Motley, I now invite you to make your remarks.
Good morning, Barbados. Good afternoon, Geneva. I want to thank all of the representatives of the member states, the Secretariat, the media, and the organizing teams for UNCTAD 15 for logging in to being with us today. I'd like to also take this opportunity to congratulate you, Madame Durand, on your recent appointment as Acting Secretary General of UNCTAD. I've worked with you in the past as we prepared, and I look forward to working with you as we come to this point to be able to prepare for October. Since you assumed this office at a pivotal moment for both UNCTAD as an organization and for the preparation of the 15th session of the conference, I know that you've been thrown in at the deep end, but I can assure you that we will work well together in order to ensure that we achieve the objectives in October. We have much to rethink, reimagine, and reorganize, and my friends, little time to do it in. But the excellent introductory conversation that I had last week with you, Madame Durand, gives me comfort that we see eye to eye on the way forward. I certainly look forward, as I said, to working with you in the coming months. My friends, it was almost 2 years ago, in June 2019, that Barbados accepted the responsibility of becoming the smallest nation in the world to host UNCTAD 15. we have pushed every step of the way to deliver on our undertaking to convene a fully participatory in-person conference in Bridgetown. But of course, that was before COVID. Because of COVID-19, we've had cause to explore safe bubbles and biospheres, to reconfigure spaces and locations, to postpone the conference date not once, but twice. Regrettably, it has now become clear to my government that we are running out of time and options to stage UNCTAD 15 in the manner that we had originally envisaged. Equally, the UNCTAD Secretariat felt the same way as we did, and we met last Friday and took a decision that we would now seek to have a virtual conference. The intensifying global spread of COVID-19, the appallingly inequitable distribution of vaccines globally, the uncertainties of international travel and of likely participation numbers, and the reality of protecting our own population here, all make it impractical for us to continue to plan or to simply hope for the best. We all know that hope is not a strategy. The Secretary General and I therefore consulted, as I said last week, and we agreed that it can no longer be convened physically. But like with all things in life, let us see what we can do to break new ground in this virtual staging of the first UNCTAD conference. We've accepted also the adverse implications that a further delay would have had, and that is why we felt that simply let us get on with the task of hosting this virtually. So my friends, we have put all of this, agreeing that UNCTAD's place at the forefront of the crucial ministerial deliberations for being the first post-COVID-19 conference in trade is absolutely critical, and to that extent what matters now is not simply the hosting of the conference, but the substance of the outcome of the conference. If ever there was a time that the developing world needs clarity, certainty, to be seen, to be heard, especially after what it has gone through with this pandemic and continues to go through with the inequitable distribution of vaccines, it is now. And therefore we believe that meeting virtually in October will allow us to meet the needs of the developing world while at the same time allow us to protect those persons who need to be protected until the world can pass the worst of this pandemic. It is regrettable that we don't appreciate that until there is safety everywhere, there is truly safety nowhere. So my friends, this meeting therefore, as we go forward with the formal decision making of what is normally a quadrennial conference, has come in obviously to difficulties by going a year later than it would otherwise go. We are hoping that if you cannot come to Barbados therefore in 2021, then we will bring Barbados to you in this virtual conference. And let me tell you, we cannot wait to start the journey, because we recognize that we can get into more homes and more offices and more boardrooms than we could if people were simply coming here. And we also recognize that we can reach different demographics to begin to popularize the battle that we've been doing over decades, but regrettably that developing countries are still being forced to undertake because our issues pertaining to vulnerability, our issues pertaining to equitable access, our issues pertaining, even as I said with the vaccines, continue to show an absence of moral strategic leadership that will allow the developing world to reach the SDGs and to go indeed from inequality and vulnerability to prosperity. So I hope that as we go forward, we can not only make October count, but every month between now and October must count in building the interests, building the audience, and settling the agreement that we want to be able to inform the outcomes of not only countries' policies, but ultimately other institutions globally, so that we can have a seamless approach to trade and development in this world as we go in further to the third decade of the 21st century. For the record, for the rest of the program, the virtual space therefore now gives us that unlimited scope to make our conference literally an exceptional experience. Last year, we saw the UN General Assembly take a virtual format, and it worked because it allowed us to have a greater reach. We believe Bridgetown and Geneva virtually in October will also work. Our teams are full of ideas. I'm actually very excited by a lot of what I'm hearing. And we can enhance the global reach of the ministerial roundtables as well and other high-level events which might not otherwise be as accessible if we were doing it simply here. So, on to October, Isabel, and I look forward to seeing you in Geneva or in Barbados and to working with you. As I said, you've been thrown in at the deep end with us, but we welcome you and we hope that we will make a major difference to the development trajectory of the developing world out of this conference. Because as I said, if ever the world needed the voice of the developing world to be heard, it is now. And we in the Caribbean are known, my friends, for passionate voices and creative flair. As I say, we are small in size, but always big on ideas. And we look forward, therefore, to being able to share our story and to be able to make that defining difference in the global agenda. Our goal, as I said, is to bring those voices and that flair, therefore, to you, and to imbue you so fully with the spirit and energy and dynamism of the Caribbean that most of you, even if you're not here, will want to be here and will be taken up, and I hope will commit to coming to visit us during the period of our chairmanship, which does not end until 2024. I've instructed my national organization committee members to work in close partnership with their counterparts in the Secretariat in Geneva to develop these plans, and I give you my assurances, Madam Secretary General, that Barbados will play host in a full and active way in these extraordinary circumstances. But what matters to us most now is not simply the hosting of the conference, as we've said always, but the substantive outcome of having our voices and our reality acknowledged, heard, and acted upon so that we can make a defining difference in the lives of our citizens. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Prime Minister Motley and Secretary General Durand, for your remarks. This brings our brief program to an end, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for participating, and we wish you a good day.